welcome back to the episode of the Inquisitive Mamba podcast. This is episode 121. I hope everyone is having a great day, great night, wherever you are around the world. So much to get into on tonight's show. We got our co-host, Max Adams, joining us. It's great to have him back. He's been gone for the last two episodes, but we've been holding it down without him. So, Max, it's a pleasure to have you back on the show. It's great to see you. So, how's it going?
Doing all right, Joe.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Lot to get into in tonight's show. The Devante Adams trade rumors. Where is Devante Adams going? The Alabama-Georgia game. Travis Kelce, is he back officially with the Chiefs because he had the rough 3 weeks there with Travis Kelce? They're going to play the Saints this week. But college football shakeups there. Travis Hunter, is he the Heisman of college football right now? Is he leading the race? What team will Devante Adams go to? MLB postseason, the Orioles and the Astros are officially out. Sorry for all you Astros fans. They finally got a taste of their own medicine, and they're officially out of the postseason. Got the MLB postseason coming up this weekend. Not the greatest of college football games this weekend. On the next coming weeks, we have some good games. But, without further ado, I'm ready to get into the show, and we're going to start off with the NFL right off the bat. What's going on with Devante Adams and the Las Vegas Raiders? What's the deal here? Because when I sit there and I think, why didn't you trade Devante Adams this offseason? Why didn't you trade him? Because obviously he wanted to go there because Derek Carr was there, and now Derek Carr is not there anymore with Gardner Minshew. And then Antonio Pierce liked an Instagram post basically saying that he thinks Devante Adams played his last snap as a Raider. The Raiders have failed Devante Adams. They should have traded him this offseason if it made any bit of sense. The Raiders are a dumpster fire. So my thing with Devante Adams is what team can take Devante Adams? Well, I wrote down all 32 teams today, and the suitors that I came up with were the Saints, the Commanders, the Chiefs, the Cowboys, the Steelers, the Bills, and the Jets. Now, some people say, why do you say the Chiefs? Obviously, they're not going to trade Devante Adams in the same division. I totally understand that. But he's still a suitor. If the Raiders were desperate and they didn't have any other suitors, maybe the Chiefs. But my team for the Devante Adams, Max, it's 100% the Jets. It's just a match made in heaven. He wanted to go to the Jets this offseason, but the trade package that would probably make the most sense for Devante Adams to go to the Jets would be Hassan Reddick, because he's holding out right now with the Jets. The Jets traded for Hassan Reddick from the Eagles this past offseason, but he hasn't played it down yet because they haven't decided, because he wants a new contract. So he's a free agent. Needs a new contract, so they could trade him to the Raiders. Then they could get Devante Adams along with some picks. So that would probably make the most sense. Now, a wildcard team could come into play, maybe like the Saints. The only problem with the Saints is they don't have a lot of cap space, but he could go to the Saints because they want to play, or he would play with Derek Carr, who he played with in Las Vegas, and then Aaron Rodgers, of course, who he played with in Green Bay. So those two teams potentially there, but the Jets makes the most sense. But I want to hear who you think Devante Adams, or what team he'll go to.
I mean, I think the Jets would be cool to see, like Aaron Rodgers comeback tour. But yeah, I also can't help but to think like the Saints don't really have a big name at wide receiver. So the Saints could be looking for a standout number one guy. So yeah, I think those are two great options.
And the Cowboys came out today and said that, or there was a reporter that said Devante Adams will not be going to the Cowboys, which makes total sense. I mean, they have CeeDee Lamb, but they already paid Dak. They don't have a lot of cap space anyway, so you can rule out the Cowboys there. So really, I think it's down to the Jet. Well, the Steelers are in play as well, and the Bills could be a potential suitor. But they just traded Stephon Diggs. I call him Diva Diggs. He's now on the Texans. So there was no point why, if you got rid of the wide receiver one, as in Diggs, why would you try to go get Devante Adams, who's kind of a diva as well, who demands the ball? I talked about this on last week's episode where Josh Allen, he looks a little bit better because the pressure is not as on him as much as it has, because I don't have to get the ball to Diggs every single play. I don't have to worry about Diggs. It's instead of me, team. So that's the thing there. So we'll shut that down there. I think it's really going to be down to the Jets and the Saints and the Steelers, but I don't think Devante Adams would want to go to the Steelers because obviously they have Justin Fields. I know Russell Wilson hasn't played it down yet, and Justin Fields has been pretty good as for this first 4 weeks of the season, but I don't see the Steelers. I really think it's the Jets or the Saints, and I'm gonna sit here and I think it's going to be the Jets. Now, we don't know when the trade is going to happen, but it'll probably happen here in the next few weeks, I would imagine so. So there's the Devante Adams. That's big news of the NFL. I mean, I was watching when I watched the series Wide Receiver on Netflix, when they did quarterback last year, they showed Devante Adams and his body language and how he handled it with the Raiders, and it just kind of looked awkward there. So like I said, they should have traded him this offseason, but now here we are in 4 weeks into the season, and the Raiders and Devante Adams actually have had no contact in the past few days.
Really, Joe? I'm
no
sick
contact.
I'm sick of diva receivers. I'll be honest.
I think everybody is at this point.
It's like, dude,
get
over yourself. And what I think is funny, honestly, Devante Adams got exactly what he was coming for. He thought the grass was greener, and hopefully he's learned his lesson. Like, stick around. If he was with the Packers, he'd probably be looking at an uptick. Like they'd be coming. They're looking up now that Jordan Love has hit his stride. He's out though right now, isn't he?
He played last week, but he actually came back last week, but he's still not 100%. He came back from the MCL, but still, yeah. I mean, but then again, I can also see Devante Adams in his case too, because you want to play with Derek Carr. If you're going to trade me and the franchise doesn't want me, and the Packers didn't want to pay him, I get it. You wanted to go to the Raiders. Now he could have stayed with the Packers and elevated with Jordan Love and stayed around. A lot of young guys there, so I do understand that point. But this year on out, it's like. It's all about Devante Adams. It's all about Devante Adams. And like you said, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And now he's getting the feeling of the Raiders suck. So trade me. It's kind of feels like a James Harden situation where I was at this team, now I'm going to the next team, and now I'm going to another team. Now, if the Jets and Devante Adams don't work out, which if he goes there, right, or if he goes to the Saints and it doesn't work out there, then what's going on there? Who's the problem? So
I mean, he will have looked back on his career hopping around teams like, a lot of who else? I mean, Antonio Brown, the end of his career, he just was a complete wildfire.
Yep. Steelers, Raiders, Steelers, Raiders, Patriots, Bucks. Yep. So this is a good one here. Baker Mayfield wants no beef with Tom Brady after recent culture comments. Did you see the whole Baker Brady little feud they had before the game? Baker Mayfield, what are you doing? Why are you even saying that? I know it creates good TV and good drama, but that's just a dumb thing to say. The only reason why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were relevant was because of Tom Brady. I've had this conversation with so many people. They had a great defense. They had a great offensive line. The only reason why the Bucs won a Super Bowl is because of Tom Brady. So when you sit there and you go and say all these stupid comments, here it is right here. Brady said, I thought stressful was not having Super Bowl rings. Brady said during the call, and Baker was basically saying, Tom is different. He had everybody dialed in, high-strung environment. So I think everybody was pretty stressed out, but they won a Super Bowl. The only reason why the Bucs came back to life was because of Tom Brady. And I get Baker Mayfield's done a pretty good job in Tampa, but when you say that, it was just, I know. And Baker came out afterwards and he said, I didn't really mean anything by it, but you still said it. You still put it out there. So I don't know. I was a weird one. He said, I think a lot of it got taken out of context and none of it was personal by any means, but it seemed like a personal shot to me in the beginning. But like I said, the only reason why they won a Super Bowl is because of Brady. What did you think of that?
I mean, I don't think it was wrong. Like he's probably right. There was definitely a different culture under Tom Brady.
100%.
Tom Brady is Tom Brady. So I don't think he should really be backtracking because he said what he said. I don't think what he said is wrong, and I don't think it's wrong for Brady to comment on it, though.
No, I mean, like I said, it makes good TV. At the end of the day, they are two quarterbacks. They're two, high ego guys. Baker's always had a chip on his shoulder. Brady's going to carry that chip on his shoulder throughout the booth. How he talks to the players and stuff. And he's I feel like Brady has more of an appreciation of the players now that he can sit back and watch them as he commentates and analyzes their play. Like he has the nickname for Lamar Jackson, and he's kind of gotten a little more comfortable with the players now that he's starting to see from a different light.
What's his nickname for Lamar Jackson?
I forget what it is. You can look it up. It's not Superman. It's let me see. Tom Brady. He has like a nickname for Lamar Jackson. Here it is. The Eraser. That's what he calls him. He calls the Eraser.
Why?
What a pleasure to watch. He's like superhuman. I don't know. That's just the nickname that he gave him, the Eraser. Maybe because he can erase defenses with his ability to play as a quarterback and move around the pocket and I call him Lamar Houdini Jackson. LHJ. Anyways,
that's so weird.
The Eraser.
The Eraser, Joe.
Can you believe this though? The Jacksonville Jaguars are 0-4. I cannot believe that they're 0-4, and fans have been calling for Doug Peterson's head. And actually, kind of interesting here, I was having this conversation with my dad a few days ago, and I saw this report today. Gronkowski was on the Kay Adams show, the Up and Adams, and he said that I think Belichick would take a call from the Jaguars if they call him in the offseason if they fire Doug Peterson. And I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I mean, because, the whole situation with Urban Meyer, the Jaguars thought that the whole culture was going to be revitalized and changed with Doug Peterson because he won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia, Philly special, Nick Foles. Doug Peterson's been around the NFL for a long time, but we haven't seen anything from the Jaguars. Now, you can blame Trevor Lawrence, you can blame Doug Peterson, you can blame the players around them, but they have a pretty good roster. So either it's a Trevor Lawrence problem or it's a Doug Peterson problem. And I think it's a mix of both. But I would love to see Belichick come back into the NFL to the Jaguars. That'd be really interesting because I think Belichick's itching to come back to coaching. I really do. I 100% think he will come back.
Yeah,
I know the
it's
boot.
One of those teams that just has all the talent and they just can't make it happen.
Yep.
It's tough.
What about this one here though? Because I think, like I said, Belichick's definitely licking his chops to come back. I know this is a crazy world and it may work, may not, probably would never work out. But I think the perfect team for Bill Belichick to go coach for would be the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I don't think it would ever happen because the Jerry Jones situation and they wouldn't get along because it's two egos and you're going to run my team. But he has the track record. Jerry does love home run, big fly, high fly guys. They have the team. They have the roster. The other side of the coin too, Mike McCarthy has led them to winning seasons, but they cannot get to the promised land. And you have to sit there if things don't go right this season and they get bounced in the wild card, or hypothetically, let's just say they don't make the playoffs. Are you gonna bring back Mike McCarthy? Because we had this conversation 2 years ago when they played the Bucs in the wild card game, and that was Brady's last game in Tampa when they went to Tampa and they played, and the Cowboys beat the Buccaneers, and we had that conversation before the game. We're like, is Mike McCarthy on the hot seat if they lose this game, or is Mike McCarthy even going to come back? So now you have to sit there, and the question's always going to be coming back. But he does have the track record. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been consistent in Dallas. So I don't know. I would love to see Belichick in Dallas. They have a win now roster.
Win a Super Bowl with
Green Bay when they beat the Steelers with Rodgers.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, that was 20. What was that? What year was that? So 2012? What year was that? Packers, Steelers, Super Bowl. That was 2011. Okay, yes, because the Super Bowl after that was the Patriots and the Giants. Okay, got it. Yes. Anyways, but yeah, it'd be really interesting to see what'll happen there. But yeah, I mean, I'm dumbfounded by the way the Jaguars have played this season, and they also too, they paid Trevor Lawrence all that money too. Like, this question has to be brought up: is Trevor Lawrence the guy? Because there's pieces on that roster. He hasn't done jack squat. The Jaguars have not won a game since what is it? I think it was last year.
7-1. They haven't won since week 8.
Yeah, that's what it is.
9, I guess.
Yes, they haven't won since last year in week 8. So Jaguars won last. When Jaguars won last? When
they started 7-1
last year?
Yep.
Really? They started 7-1.
I saw an Instagram graphic today. They lost 8 straight to lose the playoffs, and the Titans. I think the Titans won 8 straight.
Here it is. They won a game. Jacksonville Jaguars won against Carolina Panthers on December 31st. So their last game was December 31st, 2023. So it's been that long. Yeah. Because anyways, but 0-4 is just crazy for the roster that they have. And like I said, I'm just completely dumbfounded by the way that they've played. But other than that, I mean, week 4 of the NFL was good. Your Bengals won 34-24.
Yeah.
They beat Andy Dalton.
To let the Panthers score 24 points. Our defense is in a bad place. Did you know that Commanders game? We didn't get to talk about it. The Bengals are the first team to ever lose while not giving up a punt the entire game and not turning over the ball over. First team ever to lose a game in that fashion. Yep.
I want to give you a cool stat here. Jared Goff was 18 of 18 on Monday night against the Seahawks. With 3 touchdowns, 18 of 18, 292 and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he was exceptional. But I want to go to this one here real quick. How about Justin Fields in Pittsburgh? He's the first player in Steelers history with 300 passing yards, 50 rushing touchdowns, and 2 rushing touchdowns in a game. So is Justin Fields the guy? Because if this season,
I hope so. He's on my fantasy team.
If this season works out for Justin Fields and the Steelers, you're going to have to pay Justin Fields because there's going to be other teams that want him, and he is going to be due for a contract because the Bears didn't pay him, and they traded him whether it was the 6th round pick. Obviously, I think the Russell Wilson experiment, which we haven't seen yet, is done. So it's Justin Fields, and unless Justin Fields gets hurt, but you're going to have to pay Justin Fields if he continues to play this way out. You're going to have to pay him. It's just the nature of the NFL. You go to the playoffs and you don't win a game, you still get paid. If Sam Darnold and the Vikings, if they finish out with a really good record and he gets them to a wild card or a divisional game, and they win one playoff game, I think a team would. I don't want to say they're going to give him Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson money, but hell, they're going to give him Geno Smith type money.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, when you sit there,
yeah, if you can run with the big dogs.
It's crazy to think about, but I
mean, they don't really have much skin in the game with the Russell Wilson experiment anyway, though. They're paying him like $1 million. He's just a really high-end backup quarterback.
Yeah, I think that the Steelers should trade Russell Wilson at this point. I think a team should take a flyer on him because Miami could use him. Hell.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Miami could use him. Carolina could Miami desperately needs a quarterback. Oh my gosh, that Titans-Dolphins game was abysmal to watch.
That was bad.
Fans are calling for Mike McDaniel's head because of what's been going on these past few weeks, and you could see the body language on the sideline from the Dolphins. And even when Tua was in, they still weren't doing anything. I know they beat the Jaguars in that game, but they still didn't look like, I don't know. I think Miami's a mess. I think even when Tua comes back, there's a lot of other problems there. There's a lot of other holes, even though they have championship contender key pieces. You got Waddle, you got Hill, you got Ramsey, but some of the other pieces they have not turned out the way that they've supposed to be. And Jalen Phillips just got hurt. He's out with a season-ending injury there. So Miami's got a lot of questions. They play the Patriots this week, 2 1-3 games. It's going to be a toilet bowl game. Yeah. That game might be like 6-3. It'll be like.
Is it Drake May time or what?
No. They're not going to. I watched that Niners-Patriots game on Sunday, and it was really painful to watch. But they're not going to put in Drake May, especially with that offensive line. They don't want him to die back there. I was listening to Greg Olson, and he was saying, he's like, you can't put your rookie quarterback in right now, especially with that offensive line. You're going to get him killed. You'll have like they had Bosa coming off the edge, and he was killing Brissett. Now I'll give Jacoby Brissett. I call him Jacoby Brisket, but I'll give him some credit for.
You stole that name from me, Joe.
Did I? I don't think so. But anyways, here with Jacoby Brissett, I give him a lot of credit for standing in there week in and week out and taking an absolute beating. I know that's your job as an NFL quarterback, but this situation here, he's taking an absolute beating. I mean, the offensive line is not good. They have guys in and out of the lineup every week, and now David Andrews just went out with another injury there. So, like I said, I mean, for the Patriots, I'm probably expecting another 3-14, 4-13 year, and I'm not upset, but like I said, we'll see how it goes this week with Miami. But no, it is not Drake May time in New England. You can't put him in behind that offensive line. I'm gonna sit here and say I think you got to give him the Patrick Mahomes, Jordan Love treatment, where you sit him for a year and then you go see what you can do in the offseason. You're going to get another top 5 pick. You desperately need a receiver. I like the Patriots receiving core, but they need a number 1 guy, and they also need a tackle. They're in the rebuilding phase. I mean, this is obvious. The defense is still really good. We've seen that. They hung in there with the Niners as best they could. The play calling still a little conservative. I would love for the Patriots to maybe this offseason to maybe hire a high-flying offensive coordinator. I'm not sold on this Van Pelt guy. However, this Dolphins-Patriots game is going to be an absolute woozy-doozy.
Yeah.
That's going to be.
Are you going to watch it, Joe? Are you even?
Yeah, it's a 1:00. Yeah, I mean, I'll tune in, of course. I mean, I'll probably drink a Monaco cocktail. Thanks to Monaco for
sponsoring this episode.
Yeah, I have the hat on the wall. But yeah, no, I'll probably drink a Monaco cocktail while I watch the game. I drank one of those on Sunday. I felt a little better. I felt a little less stressed. It was tough to watch, but I did feel a little better. I didn't have the game on both screen. I had the game on like split screen almost. I did the 4 screens and then I did the 2, and then I would kind of flip back and forth, but it was really hard to give my full attention to that Patriots Niners game, even without McCaffrey.
I cannot blame you.
Speaking of McCaffrey, you have him in fantasy. So McCaffrey, they're still figuring out what's going on with McCaffrey with the tendonitis. He's got Achilles tendonitis in both of his legs, and they're still waiting to know when he'll come back. There's no official timetable of return, but everyone was so high on Christian McCaffrey when he went to the Niners, and oh my gosh, McCaffrey. This is a guy who's been injury prone his entire career, Max. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they signed up for when they traded for him. They knew this was the potential happening. This was the potential outcome. You paid him all the money, and now he's probably not even going to play this entire season. I don't know how you're going to be able to play with Achilles tendonitis in 2 legs. Now, I'm not a doctor, but he went to Germany twice, and now we're starting to see the whole McCaffrey saga. This was a potential, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's
years.
Huh?
He got 2 good years.
He got 2 good years. There you go. I'm not discrediting, but he's injury prone. This was potential. We've seen injuries, season-ending injuries with him before, and there you go. But I don't know. Can the Niners win a Super Bowl without McCaffrey? Ooh, really tough there. They've played good without him, but I think when it comes down to it, they need him. Even though I know you don't like to pay running backs, but he's the guy.
Rarely works out, and for them, it worked out. It did work out. I know we talked about it on this podcast like not long ago. I didn't think it would work out, and it really did. Like, obviously, they didn't get the win in the Super Bowl, but they made it to the Super Bowl, and that's something. There's something to be said about that.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that statement there. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there were some good games around the NFL. I was shocked by the Ravens-Bills game. I was completely shocked. I was like, wow, I did not expect that. I expected the Ravens to win the game because they're home and they're one of the best teams in the NFL. They're still facing that pressure because they started off 0-2. It's a primetime game, but I did not expect the Buffalo Bills to get blown out like that. I was shocked. The NFL is so weird. It's a week-to-week thing. It's like any given Sunday. Doesn't mean that team's better than that team. I wouldn't say that team is better than that. It's like, putting A and B next to each other, but it's any given Sunday. You never know.
Yeah, are the Patriots better than the Bengals, Joe?
No, absolutely not. But they caught them at a weird time. They beat them in week 1, and if they played again, they'd probably lose 31-10.
I don't know, dude. Our defense is abysmal, Joe.
Did you see that Broncos-Jets game? Broncos-Jets 10-9, and the Jets field goal. The Jets kicker missed the field goal. That was terrible. The Broncos won. And Salah and Rodgers are already having problems.
Really?
Garrett Wilson said our offense, I watch the NFL and I see on Sundays, our offense doesn't look like a lot of other teams. There's no really mixing and matching. We're not really mixing anything up. Well, if you don't remember, Garrett Wilson, your offensive coordinator is Nathaniel Hackett, and Aaron Rodgers wanted him. Aaron Rodgers made sure that he had to have Nathaniel Hackett and look at their offense. I still can't figure out the Jets. I told you they're not a contender. They have no offensive line. There's still too many pieces they're missing. And I think this would, I honestly think this is Rodgers last year. I really do. Like I said, I don't see him coming back. If this season, if they bomb out, let's just say they go 10-7 and they miss the playoffs, so they go 9-8. I don't see there's a reason why he comes back. I don't want to repeat myself, but that's how I feel. What were you saying? You were saying something about.
First of all, I don't see how they would miss the playoffs at 10-7 in the AFC East.
Well, AFC, not the AFC East. AFC as a whole,
who's going to be better than 10-7 in the AFC East?
No, I'm saying the AFC. Oh, well, I mean the Bills, yeah, they're probably going to be in that. They're 3-1 right now. They play the Texans this week, but let's just say if they go 10-7, I don't know. We'll see, because Buffalo is going to be right there as well. I don't see Miami catching up.
10-7 usually good enough to get you to the playoffs.
Maybe as a wild card, but I mean, you got in the AFC, you got the Ravens. You have, I mean, Steelers are what, 3-1? Or are they? No, excuse me, the Steelers are undefeated, right? No, they're not. Excuse me, they're 3-1. They lost to the Colts, right? Because everyone was, everyone was upset about that. Yeah, I had it right here. They're 27-24. However, I don't know. We'll see how the AFC shapes out, because there's still so much time left, though. That's another thing. You got the Texans, you got the Bills, you got the Ravens, you got the Chiefs, Chargers. They're going to be in that mix as well. Well, actually, whoever wins that bum ass division in the AFC South with the Texans, Titans, Jags, and Colts, that winner automatically gets in, because whoever wins the division sucks, other than the Texans. So they're going to get in. Texans will win that division, so they're an automatic bid. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out with that.
How it all shakes out, Joe.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on to some NCAA football here a little bit. How about that Alabama-Georgia game? I was on the edge of my seat that entire game. I was sitting there watching the game, and I was texting you guys, and I was calling those plays. I was like, "There's a wheel route. There's that." Oh my God, dude, that game was amazing. This is what college football fans sign up for: Alabama-Georgia, Georgia-Alabama. It was nothing short of spectacular. Kalen DeBoer, Kirby Smart, man, it was just something special to watch. Jalen Munroe had a Heisman performance type game. Carson Beck was very shaky in the first half. However, he bounced back in the second half, even though he threw that game-ending interception there in the end zone with 49 seconds left. But man, it was such a good game. How about Ryan Williams? You were giving me shit
insane.
at the house bar at the engagement party. He is the guy. He's only 17 years old.
That is insane.
It is insane. He graduated high school early.
His catch on the sideline where he catches the ball and turns within one step, he's full speed up the sideline, is like the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I don't. Do you remember Dante Hall from the Chiefs, the human joystick? So that was his nickname. I'm pretty sure he played in the 90s. But I tweeted and I said, Ryan Williams just took a page out of the Human Joysticks book with the juke there, because that was insane. I don't think in recent years I've seen a player like Ryan Williams. He's only 165 pounds. I mean, I know other receivers at Alabama they've had in the past. Yeah, he's really, really skinny. However, I haven't seen a player. He's only 17. Yeah, he's 175. Yeah. So anyways, but still, I haven't seen a player like him in recent years. Just his play, how he plays the game, because you've seen a lot of receivers like, oh, Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Malik Neighbors is kind of a mix of Odell and Jamar Chase, or this receiver is kind of like that receiver. But I haven't, like a DK Metcalf is like a Julio Jones, or like DK is like a Calvin Johnson. But I don't know. I just haven't seen a player like him. Maybe like a CeeDee Lamb, because their body types are similar. But I mean, just their play style. But he's a special player, man. And it's so cool because Jeremiah Smith, the Ohio State receiver, is also 17 years old, and he is dominating college football. And Ryan Williams is 17 years old, and he's dominating college football. Actually, Serena Williams, after the game, shouted out Ryan Williams. That's her younger cousin.
Really?
Yeah, she tweeted. Serena Williams said, "That's my cousin. Good job."
Are they really related?
I guess so. Yeah, that's what she said. She tweeted it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Serena Williams, Ryan Williams related. Excuse me, my apologies. She was just given a playful tweet. If it wasn't okay, so they're not related. She said they're not. She was given a playful tweet. Anyways, however, gotcha. It's still special to watch him play. He is something special, and he's only 17 years old.
That is like that him turning up the sideline after that spin move was just like something I've never seen before.
Alabama, yeah. I mean, I was just and Georgia too. They ended up coming back. They were down 28-7. It was a great game.
I didn't watch overall. I did not watch any college football this weekend, and I wish I did.
SMU beat Florida State. Ugalele's out for a few weeks with a finger injury. Yeah, Ugalele will miss time with a finger injury. He's playing Clemson this week. Yeah, because Clemson plays FSU this week. But Georgia and Bama got 12 million viewers. The SEC thriller, highest viewed regular season primetime game since 2017. Alabama is officially one in the rankings, as they should. They deserve to be number one in the rankings, 100%. But still, they still have a few games that they have to play. They still have to play Tennessee. They still have to play LSU. They still have to play Missouri. Yeah, I mean they got a tough schedule for the rest of the way. The SEC is not a joke. It never was, but now with Texas and Oklahoma in there, I mean it's going to be Georgia's schedule too. They still have to play Ole Miss. They still have to play Tennessee. They still have to play Texas. Those 3 games right there. Oof, man. I mean the SEC games. I know, I'm excited. Oregon plays Ohio State next weekend, I'm pretty sure. So that'll be a good one as well. But here, this is a good one for you, and I want to hear your opinion. I'll give mine. But do you think Travis Hunter could play cornerback and receiver in the NFL? This debate has been going on this week.
I just don't know what you do with him. Like, how do you not? How do you not? Yeah, the thing is, the thing about Travis Hunter is, when because we've had this debate, and I've done some research and stuff, and I don't want to say I call myself stupid about the whole can Alabama beat the Panthers, whatever, my opinion stands, but I understand both sides of it. It's just the usage in the NFL, because like you said, the guys are so much more physical, the guys are so much more talented, everybody's just as fast, everybody's just as skilled, everyone's just as athletic. So if you're going to play him for certain snaps on offense, are you going to play him on certain snaps on defense? Because yes, he's probably good enough. But the also thing is he's a small guy. He's going to get manhandled that corner, I feel like, in the NFL. You're going to line him up on DK Metcalf. Oh my gosh. I mean, a lot of corners aren't that big. Like how
no, but
corners are like 5'11", they're small, usually small.
He's 6'1". I mean, a 185. I mean, but the thing is too is the Travis Hunter thing, the usage, but the snaps, right? Because the snap count. I'm going to play him at 40. I'm going to play him 30 snaps at receiver. I'm going to play him. I feel like you have to pick a position and you have to stick with it. It's not like baseball where Shohei Ohtani has the luxury where you can play both positions. I just think that he's got to pick one position and say, hey, which one am I better at? Which one do I think makes the most sense for me? Am I better at corner? Am I better at receiver? And I think that's the way you're going to have to go. Now, maybe we'll see the first player. He would be the first player ever to play dual positions, wouldn't he? In the NFL in
the modern era.
In the modern era, in this high level, I think you'd have to.
But like, what do you?
I don't
do?
see.
Like,
I don't see. You can. I don't think you can play them both.
The thing is, do you play him at one or the other, and then let him become mediocre?
Right.
The other, like,
right.
Does he become a mediocre corner if he specializes at receiver?
Yeah.
Or does he become a mediocre receiver because he specializes at corner?
Yep.
Like, it just, or does he become mediocre at both because he's spending all his effort on both sides of the ball?
Right. And
I think it is more of a coaching nightmare that like, even to draft him, like,
yep.
If you draft a corner, you're going to throw him in at corner.
100%. Because every team needs a corner. Every team needs a corner. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The average, also by the way, the average corner is 5'11", so he's big for a corner, not big for a receiver.
Yeah, I'm thinking because he just looks so much smaller on TV compared to other guys. But listen, he's a special talent. He's one of the. He's a very few far in between. He's a rare breed for a player like that.
In his career, he will certainly take snaps at both corner and receiver. I don't think he'll ever play a full game at both sides, but maybe he plays the fourth quarter, or maybe he plays the first quarter. Who knows?
I don't know, man. I mean, he's good enough to do it 100%, but it's going to be about the coaching too. And when you get into the NFL, the money, the millions of dollars, and all the money that's going into him, a coach may say, "You're not playing corner. You're playing receiver. We're paying you $20 million a year. Your ass is playing receiver. You're not playing corner. We know how valuable you are, but I don't see it, man. I don't know. It's a weird thing because
where injuries happen most. I wonder, are you more likely to get injured as a receiver or a corner? What do you think?
I think you're more likely to get injured as a receiver.
Right. Yeah.
Because you're taking way more hits, especially where you get lined up. Is if you're in the slot and you come across the middle and a linebacker just absolutely crack pops you compared to corner, you can kind of back off, or you can kind of I kind of tackled him, but I really didn't, compared to receiver. Yeah, I would say receiver 100%. I don't know though. I mean, with him, it's a very interesting case. He could be the first dual player.
Yeah, I think you could play corner. You can play receiver for a lot longer than you can play corner too. So
yeah, you can.
He plays corner when he's younger and then gets back into receiver when he's later.
Yeah.
Who knows? His hands are like some of the his highlight reel.
Yeah.
Is like insane. The amount of people he's mossed is just unbelievable. Like that catch where he's falling and he catches it off the back plate of the cornerback in the corner of the end zone.
Yep.
And like, how many balls does he have where he is completely manhandled by the corner? It's fucking nuts.
It's crazy. His catch down the field.
Are the best.
He's got what's it called? He's got this crazy stat where it was online. I was looking at it. His catch radius down the field on certain throws of over 20 yards, he's just like, it's 95% or something. It's crazy. It's insane. But let's bring this conversation up here. We talked about this on the podcast a few weeks ago about Travis Hunter and his Heisman case. Actually, right now he's not the favorite to win the Heisman as of right now. It's Jalen Munroe, of course. After that Georgia performance, it's Munroe at plus 250, Ward at plus 500, Hunter at plus 500, Gabriel at plus 1400, and then Ashton Jeanty, the Boise State guy, at plus 1000. And then it's Nico Yamavea. I can't pronounce his last name. However, though Munroe, Ward, Hunter, and Jeanty are the four right now. Now, there's a lot of time left in college football, but that Munroe performance was one for the books. I mean, that was one for the ages. I mean, he dominated Georgia in that first half like it was no tomorrow. He looked like Lamar Jackson out there, and he just raised his draft stock completely all the way up. I mean, wherever he was to where he is now, he raised it completely. Munroe looks like a total different quarterback from last year. Now, Kirby Smart in Georgia, they were throwing the house at him in the second half. They started blitzing him more. They started getting him uncomfortable. They've started sending the house a lot more, but still, I mean, he put the team on his back in that first half, and some of the runs he had was just spectacular. So yeah, Milroe's the favorite right now. Cam Ward is creeping in there as well, but yeah, you can't discredit anything. But yeah, Hunter, if he continues to play the way he's playing, he's definitely going to make a case. I don't think he'll win the Heisman. I really don't, because they're going to have to beat Kansas State, and they're going to have to beat Arizona, and they're going to have to beat a ranked team. I think, yes, his performance on the field, I just don't think they'd give it to him. I really don't. I don't know. Cam Ward, if anything, he would probably be the guy because the quarterback, of course, but we'll see how it plays out.
I think Colorado would have to make the playoffs to
at
least make the playoffs to give Travis Hunter a chance.
Yeah, here it is. Go ahead.
Who knows? Like, Travis Hunter is like just so different. I don't see how he doesn't.
So they play Kansas State this week, then they play Arizona, and then they play Cincinnati. That should be a free spot on the bingo board. Then Texas Tech, then Utah, Kansas, and then Oklahoma State. So I mean, there's some games in there for him to make his case. However, I think you got to beat one of the ranked teams. You got to beat a Utah, or you got to beat a Kansas State, because the thing about Colorado, I still can't figure out, because I'm not sold on Colorado. They just beat UCF. I mean, UCF's going to play Florida this week. We'll see if they win that game. But UCF got dominated. But there's nothing to cry home about. And I still am not sold on Colorado. Their defense has looked a little better, but I think if they run into a real top 25 team, I think like we'll see this week against Kansas State. I just don't think so. But we'll see how it plays out. I mean, of course, Shedeur Sanders is there, and Shedeur, of course, said Travis Hunter deserves the Heisman. He's the best player in college football. Would you say Travis Hunter is the best player in college football?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
overall, he's an elite receiver, an elite corner on both ends of the ball. It's just a better athlete all around.
Yeah, I mean, this season, there's a lot of guys. I don't know, man. I mean, Cam Ward's been exceptional this year. Milroe's been really good this year. Yeah, I mean, you can say Travis. You can make a case for Travis Hunter, but I don't know,
doing
man.
Something that no one has ever done before.
Yeah, he's doing the corner and the receiver, of course, but the competition level he's playing compared to some of the other competition, the other candidates too. We'll see how it goes out, but yeah, I'm excited. Let's talk about.
I think if Colorado wins out, there's no doubt in hell that he's. But
yeah,
I don't
but
see them winning out.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
you and I both know they're not winning out. Yeah. Let's talk about this one here, though. One of the craziest sports plays in recent history, as long as I've been on this planet for 26 years now, the controversial call for Miami and Virginia Tech. That was insane. It was ruled a touchdown on the field. He's got the ball in the air. It looks like he kind of comes down with it, but he doesn't. And then they call it a touchdown on the field. And then they go back to the booth, and it takes like 4 to 5 minutes, and they go back and they come back on the field and they say it was overturned and it wasn't a touchdown. And in the meantime, you have Virginia Tech players celebrating and you have Miami players celebrating. I mean, it was insane. That was not a touchdown, though.
No shot. There was so many people we were at the bar for your birthday that night.
Yes.
There was so many people just staring at the TV for like the entire 5 minutes. Like, what is going on?
I was running in that circle, and I told Aaron, I was like, it's not a touchdown. And then I look at this other guy on the side of me, and he's like, that's a touchdown, man. That's a touchdown. I'm like, listen, buddy, I've been watching football for a really, really long time. I'm going to tell you they're going to overturn this call. It's not going to be a touchdown. There's no substantial evidence on the field that would make that a touchdown. You can't call that a touchdown on the field. And I want to hear everyone's opinion in the comments. Do you think that was a touchdown or not? Because we both think it's not a touchdown, and it definitely wasn't. There was no way you could have called that a touchdown.
No shot.
But that was an insane game. I mean, I can't believe Miami pulled it off. They were losing that game. Oh man, that was an insane ending. I think that was one of the craziest moments of college football history in recent years.
Yeah, but it's not in a massive game, was it?
No, it's not a massive game, but still, like in that situation, I mean, that's a huge deciding factor for Miami for the rest of their season. I mean, a lot was riding on that game for them. And he threw that ball up there. He bombed it. The guy looks like he comes down with it. He's got it. And then like the ball just like basically just like disappears halfway through. But man, that was just a special ending there. The ACC overturned the touchdown call on the field after the review. Moment on the ruled touchdown, they were headed to the headquarters. Yeah, I mean, that was just crazy. Looking at the picture here, can't even tell who has the ball.
No.
But this is a good one here, though, for you. We'll talk briefly about the WNBA. WNBA playoff ratings are down nearly 50% without Caitlin Clark. So you can thank Caitlin Clark for all of her play and all of her everything she did for the WNBA this season, because the ABC
lose?
Yeah, they're out. They lost 2-0.
No way.
They lost 2-0 to the Connecticut Sun in the first round. And now we're left with the Connecticut Sun, the Minnesota Lynx, the New York Liberty, and the Las Vegas Aces. But the Las Vegas Aces are on the brink of losing. They're down 2-0. If they lose next game to the New York Liberty, they're out 3-0, which is crazy because they won the WNBA finals last year. However, according to ESPN, the attendance for the Liberty and the Aces was 14,015 fans, just below 75% capacity of the arena. So yeah, the Caitlin Clark effect is 100% real in the WNBA. And we posted some clips on TikTok today, and we're getting some Caitlin Clark supporters and saying that, the WNBA should be thanking Caitlin Clark. The WNBA, Max, has not officially come out and said that Caitlin Clark won the Rookie of the Year. It's been 5 days. It got leaked. The WNBA they have not posted anything about it.
When did they do the awards? They probably have an award ceremony.
They do, but usually you announce it. Like in baseball, they announce the MVP before the award ceremony comes out. Like they always announce it on social media. The WNBA hasn't made any official statement about it, which is crazy to think about it.
They probably had a schedule.
But you can still come out and say on your social media that she won the award. Everybody knows she did.
They will.
They should.
They don't. They will.
Yes, but they should have already done it, is what I'm saying.
Why? It's not part of their schedule.
It got leaked. Yes, it is. Just like the MVP and the NBA, they do the same thing. They always come out and say it on social media.
If the MVP got leaked 5 days before they were scheduled to post about the MVP being MVP,
but
would they come out and say it early?
When's the schedule? They should have already said it by now. It's been 5 days.
What year did they announce the Rookie of the Year? What date did they announce last year's Rookie of the Year?
I don't know. You can look it up.
Well, if they're on the same schedule, why would it matter?
It probably changes every year. Aaliyah Boston won the Rookie of the Year October 2nd. So it should be coming out today then. They still haven't announced it. When is the WNBA has yet to make an official announcement regarding this season's Rookie of the Year? The announcement, they have not officially announced the date. Why have they announced it? They announced it last year on October 2nd. You could simply say it. They're out of the playoffs now. No, because the WNBA doesn't want Caitlin Clark taking away the attention. They want the attention on the WNBA postseason. They don't want the attention on her. They want it all about the 4 teams that are left, and because the WNBA doesn't like Caitlin Clark. That's exactly why. Because they announced it last year on October 2nd, 2023. They should have already announced it. Today is October 2nd. They could have announced it, but they've decided not to. And I think I know why. Because they don't want the attention shifting onto Caitlin Clark.
It's a big conspiracy theory, Joe. I don't know.
I'm just saying, man. I mean, you would think they would announce it by now. However, but yeah, 50% down nearly in ratings since she has not played. It's not a secret. The Clark effect is real. However, October 2nd already. We're in the month of Halloween. Have you thought about your costume yet? I haven't either. I don't even know what I'm wearing this year. I've always, for Halloween, I've always thought about dressing up as like something like, I don't know, something different. Like, not different, but like a cool costume where I can wear makeup or dress up as like something like really cool where it's like, wow, that's like a badass costume, not just one of those cheesy costumes from Party City. But anyways, yeah. I mean, I think that wraps it up for us. Did you have anything else you wanted to add? I mean, we hit on the WNBA. We hit on the actually the NBA with the Karl Anthony Towns trade to the Knicks. That was crazy. Derrick Rose retired, so there's some NBA news there. However, yeah, we talked a lot about the NFL. Travis Hunter, cornerback, wide receiver, what he'll do. Colorado with the Heisman there, the Alabama Georgia game. I mean, it was a lot we covered. So yeah, I mean, like I said, episode 121 in the books. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We're at 917 subscribers. We've gained 20 subscribers since last episode. So we're, like I said, we're pumping out content. We're pumping out clips. Make sure to follow Max's YouTube. He just posted a video yesterday for you photography lovers out there. But yeah, like I said, the podcast is on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. the Inquisitive Mamba podcast. We will see you guys next week.